Ever notice how some people can walk past a roaring sports bar, screens flashing, crowds yelling, and feel absolutely nothing? No pull, no curiosity, no urge to check the score. Today we're talking about the psychology of people who don't obsess over sports, or don't care about sports at all, and why that's way more normal and more interesting than it seems. Sports fandom is often treated like a default setting. You grow up, you pick a team, you suffer, you celebrate, you argue online. So when someone doesn't play that game, it can feel confusing. People ask them, "You don't like any sports?" As if they just said they don't like music. But psychologically, this group isn't broken, cold, or boring. Their brains are just wired toward different reward systems. One of the biggest differences is how people experience emotional payoff. Sports obsession works because it offers fast, intense emotional rewards. Victory gives a dopamine hit. Loss gives drama. Rivalries create identity. For people who don't care about sports, that emotional spike often doesn't land. Their brains don't strongly associate team outcomes with personal reward, so watching a game feels like observing someone else's excitement rather than sharing it. Many of these people are internally motivated rather than externally stimulated. Sports are largely about shared attention, millions of people focusing on the same event at the same time. If you're someone who gets more satisfaction from solitary focus, deep thinking, or creative flow, that shared hype can feel loud instead of meaningful. You'd rather build something, learn something, or explore an idea than ride the emotional waves of a scoreboard. Another key trait is identity independence. Sports fandom often becomes part of who someone is. We won, we lost, even though they never stepped on the field. People who don't care about sports usually define themselves through personal values, skills, or interests instead of group affiliation. Their sense of self doesn't need reinforcement from a team's performance, which makes them less vulnerable to the highs and lows of fandom, but also less drawn to it. There's also a different relationship with competition. Sports center on zero-sum outcomes. Someone wins, someone loses. People who don't obsess over sports often prefer non-competitive or self-referenced goals. Progress matters more than dominance. Improvement matters more than beating someone else. That mindset shows up in careers, hobbies, and even relationships, where collaboration or mastery feels more fulfilling than rivalry. Social wiring plays a role, too. Sports are a social shortcut. You can walk into a room, mention last night's game, and instantly belong. People who don't care about sports often build connection differently. They bond through conversation, humor, shared projects, or niche interests. They don't rely on mass culture to create closeness, which can make their social circles smaller, but often deeper. Interestingly, many non-sports people score higher on curiosity-driven attention. Their interest system is selective, not broad. When something grabs them, it really grabs them. But it has to feel mentally rich, personally relevant, or intellectually stimulating. A game that resets every season with slightly different players may feel repetitive rather than exciting. This doesn't mean they dislike fun or emotion, they just get it from different sources. A complex story, a challenging game, a creative pursuit, or even a deep conversation can deliver more satisfaction than a championship final. Their dopamine comes from insight, not outcome. There's also cultural pressure at play. In many environments, especially workplaces or schools, sports talk is treated as neutral ground. People who don't care about sports learn early to mask disinterest, nod along, or stay quiet. Over time, this can make them seem reserved or detached, when in reality they're just uninterested in that particular social currency. One overlooked strength of people who don't obsess over sports is emotional regulation. Since their mood isn't tied to external wins and losses, they're often more stable day to day. They don't experience the emotional whiplash that comes with fandom. That stability can translate into better focus, patience, and long-term thinking. Of course, none of this means sports are bad or pointless. Sports are powerful precisely because they meet deep human needs for storytelling, belonging, and emotion. But the people who opt out aren't missing something. They're just meeting those needs elsewhere. So if you're someone who's never understood the obsession, there's nothing wrong with you. Your brain simply prioritizes different rewards. And if you know someone who doesn't care about sports, chances are they're investing that energy into something else that lights them up just as strongly. And here's the real takeaway. Understanding this difference helps us stop treating one interest pattern as normal and the other as strange. Humans aren't designed to all care about the same things. We're designed to specialize, to diversify attention, and to build meaning in different ways. If this resonated with you, or if you've ever been the odd one out during game night conversations, you're definitely not alone. And I'm curious, what do you care about deeply that other people just don't get?